All right, we're talking more about property taxes and the possibility of property tax cuts, property tax relief, and doing so responsibly where it doesn't hurt local communities with Dave Bond from OCPA, the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs, as well as Oklahoma County Assessor Larry Stein. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. This is an online exclusive. We just finished on Oklahoma Chronicle. My big question is, if we're cutting property taxes in some way, doesn't that mean that then we're going to have to add taxes in some other form at some place in order to make up the difference somewhere, Dave?
So I would say, look at it the way we're looking at income taxes in Oklahoma right now. Lawmakers passed a plan last year to gradually, very gradually, phase the personal income tax to zero as revenues rise to basically pay for those cuts in advance. That's just one type of way to do it, but you could apply similar ideas to the property tax. The main thing is, first and foremost, to stop the bleeding. Folks have got to see some relief from this annual escalation in their property tax bills year after year after year. He's right when he said earlier that part of it is the homeowner's insurance as well. That's a problem too, and that's a different conversation that has to be dealt with in different ways.
Right.
But stopping the bleeding for these Oklahoma homeowners all over the state, it's not necessarily more severe in the metros than it is in rural areas. Folks all over the state are feeling it.
The problem is that we have people that support public schools. We had 2 oil companies that left their headquarters out of Oklahoma City. They're going to be going to Houston. They said that there's not one technological company that wants to go to Oklahoma when you're rated last in education. The property tax funds education. We have bond elections all the time. In Oklahoma County, we had a bond election just over 2 months after the last general election, and they had 160 voters vote yes. That was just over that 60% mark. There was $150 million. Each vote represented $822,000 in increased or more property taxes. What are we going to do? Should we have a certified election? By that, I mean, if you're going to have 60% of the votes, should you have a percentage of the total possible electorate? When you have 160 votes out of 10,000 possible voters, is that really taxation without representation?
That's why we have to move those to November.
And if you can't pass it in a special election with the percentage, move it to the next general election, because people love to support their schools, but it doesn't get, those bonds don't get paid off with unicorn poop and fairy dust. It gets paid off with property tax increases. I didn't raise your property taxes, you did. So why are people complaining to me when I'm only following the law? And by the way, if I don't follow the law, they take me out in handcuffs.
Right.
So if you want to change the law, I follow the law. The legislature passes them. I'm just the guy that has to enforce the law.
Dave, let me ask you this really quick, because Texas, obviously zero personal income tax in Texas.
Yeah.
I lived in Texas, and the one thing that I remembered about living in Texas is that they're going to find some way to get you, right? In Texas,
they work at it. Yeah.
The property taxes in Texas, you know this, are many times greater
5 times or more.
Okay, so
it's up there, yeah.
Property taxes are high because the income tax is low. If Oklahoma wants to lower the income tax, in fact, we are gradually doing this, how can we afford to freeze or lower or cut or do anything to our property tax?
The complaint that we hear the most from Oklahomans is that it keeps going up year after year after
I
year.
hear you.
I think because the value of homes go up and people are paying insurance costs and based on the value, but it is limited to 3 and 5%. Problem is, Texas has a $344 billion budget. Oklahoma has a $12 billion budget. We're trying to compete as a lightweight against the heavyweight champion of the world. I don't know how we can compete with several $100 billion more of a budget. And when they cut their income tax, they got plenty of revenue. But we've only got $12 billion, and now you're talking about taking away from the essential constitutional mandate of educating our kids. And people in rural areas, that's all they've got.
I didn't say take away from it. I said stop the bleeding.
If you're going to reduce the amount of money that goes, that's going to hurt their school system, and you're going to have a lot of counties that may just blow away.
Dave, let's give you the final word here before we wrap this segment up. So overall, this has been a good conversation. Coming out of this, what is your big argument? Your last argument that you'd make after what you're hearing from Larry.
Every Oklahoman I've ever talked with about this just needs things to at least pause for a minute. It just keeps going up and up and up. Let's put in a long-term solution that also deals with the homeowners insurance stuff. That has to be part of the equation as well, and Larry's incredibly right about that. But the property tax piece is a part of it as well. And it keeps going up year after year after year. Not just because some county assessors handle it differently. Some are increasing it to the max that they're allowed under the state constitution year after year after year. That's why the legislature right now is in the process of putting something on the ballot later this year to bring that number down, because they haven't been able to get some of the county assessors to stop.
All right, we had Larry Stein, the Oklahoma County Assessor. We got Dave Bond from OCPA. Dave, great having you back here.
Thank you.
Larry, great coming here for the first time. I enjoyed it.
I hope I can come back.
Trust me, you can come back. All right, guys, thanks for joining us here online.